from there, and it's no wonder why infamous Memphian Craig Petty's was able for a time to be a part of the biggest distribution ring involving black dealers. They had to plug La Barbie, Edgar Villarreal out of Mexico back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
The U.S. attorney called the Craig Pettis gang a cancer to the community and hopes this guilty verdict will bring some closure to the victims' families.
Now, by 2000, less than 5 years after he snuck into the car lot and stole the stash, Craig Petty's was copping from operatives in Memphis. And Petty's was flipping the product so fast that these guys in Memphis took him down to Corpus Christi, Texas, to introduce him to their boss, Edgar Valdez Villarreal, a.k.a. La Barbie, a Texas native whose high school football coach gave him that nickname because of his Ken doll-like appearance. He had very fair skin, blonde hair, green eyes. He looked white, which was a rarity in Mexican cartel circles.
So if you want to watch my full video on Craig Petty's, you'll see the whole story of him and La Barbie, but a few interesting updates. Craig Petty's, who got 9 life terms, had a hard time in prison, which started before he was even sentenced when he was in the Memphis Correctional Institute. I don't know what happened to these charges. At one point, he was charged with possessing weapons or firearms in the Correctional Institute. Kind of unclear what happened with that. He's moved around to a lot of different prisons. Big Meech famously accused him of being a rat. Some people say he is, some people say he isn't. I mean, the guy has 9 life sentences. I don't know what he ratted on, but he may have done something during his time in the streets that somebody didn't like, because I've seen different prison channels where guys say they were with him. I think even that BG cellmate guy, and you can take this all with a grain of salt, he said that Petty's keeps getting robbed by, I guess, other people from Memphis, including for like 100 Suboxone strips, which are worth like $400 each in prison. Is that true? Is it not? He has moved to a lot of prisons, but goes to show, oh well. So Edgar Villarreal, his supplier, La Barbie, who got captured right around the same time as Petty's, maybe slightly after, slightly after in Mexico, and was kept in Mexico while he was trying to figure out how to tell to not come to the U.S. Came to the U.S., he got 45 years in prison, maybe back in, Petty's was sentenced maybe in 2009 or taken into custody. Barbie probably got sentenced in 2016 to 45 years, which is a lot less than 9 life terms. And La Barbie was in the federal system. Edgar Villarreal, you could find him until about maybe 18 months ago. He stopped being in the federal system, which means he's been put in some witness segregation. He's probably in a prison, but with other high-level informants. I just interviewed Gene Borello, who was a mafia turncoat. He said where he was at, it was like the president of Guatemala, all kind of high-level people that had informed. La Barbie's probably somewhere like that, or he's out. Maybe, probably not. But even when you start telling the feds aren't your friends, if you got something good to tell, they'll work with you. But, you know, maybe Craig Petty's, I'm sure they drugged that guy through so many interrogations. Did he try to tell? Did he try to give some info? Who knows? But he has 9 life terms, and he's the biggest that we know about to come out of Memphis. And the supplier to the streets of Memphis, the real one, Edgar Villarreal, is at least half free or free-ish, sort of like the deal the Flores brothers made. And to go all the way back to the BOVAN family and the Big Jook and Yo Gotti situation. Big Jook and Yo Gotti, to some extent, were involved with somebody, even according to their own, you know, what they say. And according to the chatter in Memphis, you know, it wasn't, and it doesn't seem like PRE people are who got Jook. Somebody came from out of town, They say it was a message for Gotti. Well, what kind of message? Who knows? Since everybody's throwing out theories, CMG presents itself as this big label, sort of like a QC or something. And, you know, they're successful. I remember when Glorilla first came out, I was one of the first people I saw F&F when they had barely any views. I said, that's going to be popular. I like ESTG. Of course, I love 42 Doug from Detroit. Moneybag Yo, he's about their biggest artist though, and he's partially Zach Randolph's artist. Everyone else is kind of like a region. They're big. They're not huge artists like QC had. The money that comes into CMG is not like the money that came into QC or other bigger labels. Who knows what those guys could have been doing to supplement. I don't know anything about this, but makes you wonder. Were they trying to prop up the CMG empire with some outside money? You could easily be owing $4, $5, $6 million at a time to some cartel, and a record label is the perfect thing. Just like Jimmy Hinchman and others have done. You're moving around the country in groups to do different stuff, meeting different people. I don't know. It'll be interesting what the investigation reveals. But yeah, Memphis, interesting place. A lot of Detroit ties. It's always been a rough city. Not as bad as Detroit though, but in the recent years it's up there now with the Detroits and Baltimores.